Welcome back. So you may have noticed in our other lessons, I spoke about the importance of having great visuals on your site, having eye-catching images and ensuring that your site design is cohesive the whole way through. So this means having fonts that are matching throughout and also having nice colours that work together. Now that we've talked about all of that, I want to take you to the next level. So in this lesson, I'm going to take you through how to add those wow effects to your site. So the things that we're going to look at are scroll effects, animations and vector art. So let's go. Firstly, we'll start with scroll effects. As you know, we previously mentioned that you can add a scroll effect on the header. So all you need to do is click the header, click settings, and you can see there are 4 different types of scroll effects available. What I hadn't yet mentioned is that you can actually add scroll effects to all of your strips. So let's go and choose a strip and add a scroll effect to it. In this case, we're going to choose this strip. So let's go to scroll effects. We can see that the fade in is already added. So let's go to preview and see how that looks. So you can see when we scroll, it's faded and it becomes brighter and brighter as we scroll. And it works opposite ways. So you can see it's bright, and as we scroll up, it gets darker. I think that's a nice and subtle way to add that little bit of interest to your site. So let's go back. There are many other different scroll effects that you can add. So let's click the strip, click the scroll effect and see what happens. One of my favorite scroll effects is the parallax. Let's take a look. So we've added it and we're going to go to preview. Here in preview, we can see what happens. As we scroll, there's nothing in our strip. We scroll and the image appears, and as we scroll past it, it disappears again. Amazing. I think this looks really, really cool. Let's go and look at it a little bit faster. Nice. Okay. Let's add one more scroll effect. So we'll go back to our strip and we'll click scroll effects. This time let's try pan right. Cool. So let's go to preview and see what happens. Okay, we're scrolling and we can see that it looks like our line is actually moving like this as we scroll. Very nice. It's like a wave that's moving to the right, and when we scroll back, the wave is moving backwards towards the left. I think that's a really nice scroll effect for this site. Okay. So now we've taken a look at 3 really great scroll effects that we've added to the site. The reason you might add scroll effects is, let's say your visitor's scrolling through your site and you have a lot of content. You've got text, you've got images. A great way to break it up is having, let's say, a strip that moves slightly, and it really adds that bit of interest to the site. Something else that can do this is animations. So let me show you how to add them. So let's take this image for example. We're going to click it and we can animate it. So we're going to click the 5th button, which is animations. When it opens, you can see that there are a number of different animations to choose from. So let's take a look. For example, we have bounce in, expand in, fly in, arc in, ooh, and even puff in. So as you can see, there's so many different options. For the sake of this site, let's choose expand in. I think that's cool. Also, when we've chosen it, we can actually customize it for ourselves. So let's click customize and see. So we can set the power to be either soft, medium or hard. It's currently set to hard, so let's set it to soft and take a look. We're also going to change the duration slightly. So it's set to 1.2, let's set it to 1.5. Perfect. Let's go to preview and see what happens. You can see there that the image softly animated in. Let's go back to the editor. We're actually going to change it back to hard because I think it's better that way. So let's go expand in, customize, and change the power to hard. Perfect. So that's how you animate an image. I'm also going to show you how to animate text. So let's click the text and see. The 3rd button here is animation. When we click it, we can see that the same animations for the image have opened. So for example, we've bounce in, fade in, fly in, and turn in. In this case, we're not going to use animations on the text, and this is because we already have added an animation on the image. So we don't want to have too many animations because this could get confusing for your site visitors. You don't really want to see animations like go, 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 go. It's nice to see one animation and then be able to read the text and maybe have another one somewhere else on the site. Keeping it simple is the best way to go. We just took a look at scroll effects and animations. Now let's take a look at the rest of the site. Here you can see we have an image. So let's delete this and find something else to replace it with. Okay, let's go to our add panel. You can see we have a decorative section here, and we have a number of vector arts that you can choose from. We have featured, icons, animals and nature, logos and badges, and characters. I think the icons are so useful. So for example, you could add an email icon and you could allow your user to click on it and it would open up your email address, or you could add a phone icon and you could link it to your phone number. Other ones that are really cool are like characters. Let's say you want to add that little bit of funk to your site. Maybe you have, a fashion site. You could add some of the characters to it. In this case, we're going to take a look at the featured vector art. So let's click all vector art. Here you can see there are a number of different vector arts. There's also a search bar, which is so handy, so you can search for the vector art that best suits your site. In this case, as it's a watch site and a fitness site, let's have a look for watches. Cool, okay, so we can see there are a number of different watches and clocks here. In this case, let's try this watch out. And as I kind of already mentioned, there's so many vector arts that you can choose from, so you can choose something that's really suitable to your site. Perfect, so we've added our vector art and let's place it correctly. We can attach it to the strip here. Okay, we can see one small problem, and that's that the background of the vector art is the same color as the background of the strip, so it's not very clear. So let's go to design and see what we can do. Oh, cool. So we can change the different colors of the vector art individually. So let's take this black color, for example, and you can see that we can change it to each color here. Something that I think is really, really amazing is that it's actually your site theme colors that show up here in the color palette. So it's not just random colors, it's actually your site theme, which really helps to add to the cohesiveness of your site. So let's, for example, choose this light grey color. Perfect. We could also change the black, we could change it to white, we could change it to turquoise, we could change it to blue. I think in this case we'll leave it as it is because it looks quite well. Perfect. Also, since we were talking about animations, I'd just like to let you know that you can also animate your vector arts, as you can see here. Cool. So, in this course, we talked about scroll effects. I showed you some really cool ones like the parallax and the right pan. We also talked about animations. I showed you how you can animate images and text. And also, I showed you how to add vector art to your site. So, with that said, I think we're ready to move on to our next lesson, which will help us to add even more wow effects to our site. In our next lesson, we're going to look at interactions, and I can't wait to see you there.